front of me we have my newly acquired Suzuki Cappuccino. So we've seen this car on the channel before. It's gone through a couple hands since then. But the reason I bought this, I'm gonna explain to you guys once I get back home, because we still have an hour and a half to go. But the obvious answer is for the interior. So I've been driving for 30 minutes. I still have an hour and 11 minutes till I get back home. And as of right now, the car is driving fine. I'm not gonna talk too much about my plans or anything just yet. My main goal really is just to get this car home, park it next to the red Cappuccino, and then I'll show you guys side by side that, you know, I want to take this from this one. I definitely want to take all this wood grain. This one's a limited model. Do I also want to take the LSD? Do I want to just, you know, swap over the seats and then sell this car complete? There's a couple different options and plans that I may have with this car, but I got it for extremely cheap, where honestly, if I just swap everything over and sell it for exactly how much I paid, in my opinion, it's still a W. Next update should be when I get back home. Hopefully I don't break down or have any bad luck in this car. You guys already know I drove my other Cappuccino from Los Angeles to LA and we broke down a couple times. I'm hoping for this next hour I don't have any of those problems, but I see you guys once I get back to the crib. And just like that, Suzuki Cappuccino number 2 has made it all the way home. And honestly, for that hour and a half, the car doesn't drive bad. That's why I'm just torn on exactly what to do. But let's do a full 360 for my new subscribers or people who just don't remember this car. So it's a limited model, it's navy. The paint is in terrible condition. You can see from here, but even this, I'm not sure if that's even a wrapper paint. It looks like one of those Japanese cars, if you're familiar with imports, that were done with like a brush. Like back here, you can see there's like panels missing. If I just flick this up, it'll come off. But paint and exterior is definitely the flaw in this car. The rims don't look bad. I already have a buyer for these. They're on some snow tires, which makes a lot of sense for a lot of the things that are wrong with this car. But you can see there's just rust and corrosion everywhere. Like a part of me honestly wants to take this tape off. Maybe that'll be a separate video, but do you hear this? Like, do you hear that crunch? I'm really curious to see what this looks like under this like navy tape that they put there. Front bumper's actually in really good condition. I don't see any flaws there, so that definitely has some value. This fender as well, besides the paint, of course. And then this side is even worse. Look at this. Like, I really want to pull this off, but just listen. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We really got to spend a day just pulling all this off, because this is just... But to be honest, this plays no part in why I bought the Cappuccino. The main reason I bought this car is because I've been looking for seats for the longest. And even while I was in Japan, I was looking for seats, but I just kept thinking, like, by the time I got that seat in the container, it'll be probably the end of February or maybe March, and I don't want to drive with that red uncomfortable seat for 3 more months. Like, at that point, I would have bought a Miata seat, an MR2 seat, a Del Sol seat, any JDM small roadster seat, and I would have figured a way to put it in the car. So I saw this come up on Marketplace, and I was like, wait, hold on. It's obviously way more money than 2 seats, but I get a complete running vehicle. Although we saw the rust, we saw all the imperfections, there's a lot of things that this car has that I could put in my Cappuccino to make it a bit better. We don't necessarily need the things, but I would love to put these 2 wood grain panels like I mentioned. Maybe even take off this whole dash, because mine has a couple rips. It's not terrible, but you know, I wouldn't mind putting this on there. Maybe even take the cluster or even just a speedo cable. I also want to take this, but it looks like it might have been modified, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to put a radio here, but I would love to take this as well, along with this entire piece, because mine has a little cut here. I'll show you guys when I bring the Cappuccino. But there's a lot of things in this car that, in my opinion, it was worth it to buy, just because at the end of the day, what I want to do is just swap over the parts that are in my Cappuccino and put in this one. I told you guys in 2024 while I was in Japan that this was going to be a very important year. This was gonna be the year that I go from 24,000 subscribers to I want to get to 100,000. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because I know you love K cars because you're watching this. But now that we have both cars side by side, I can show you exactly what I was talking about with this interior and that interior and little things like this. Like these go for about like 30-40 bucks online, and I happen to be missing 2 of them. Also, this happened, I don't know how, we're not gonna talk about it, but that makes me very sad. But I'm missing 1 on each side. Let's say they cost $40 each from Japan. Let's add another $30 to ship it. Why do that when I could just buy a complete cappuccino? So that's one thing we're taking off that one. Like I mentioned, I really like the way this wood grain looks. It's in very good condition. All the vents are there. They're not like droopy or sloppy. And now we'll go to my cappuccino, including this too. I don't even have this button or this like fake button. I don't have that either. Now let's go to mine, and you can see it has like this weird carbon fiber look even on the cluster here. I don't like it, but look, nothing here. It's been raining a lot. I don't have a defroster. That's pretty annoying. And you can see mine even lifts here, and then mine are like droopy. Like look at this, it doesn't even go back into place. Little things like that to me were like, it's not a big deal. Obviously if I sold this car tomorrow, don't think someone's gonna be like, wow, this is droopy, I don't want to buy it, wow, it doesn't have defroster. But it's not the end of the world. But if I can buy this complete cappuccino, like all jokes aside, and just improve it with stuff like that, even this, if you see this whole setup, I really like the way that looks, especially with the matching wood grain. I don't even have that in this car. Whoever had this put like this weird 3 car charger USB thing. So that again is something I want to change. And then even little things like this one looks a little aged, the other one looks a little better. I don't like this carbon fiber, that kind of drives me insane as well. And then here's a look at my dashboard. There's a crack there, crack there, crack there. Again, not the end of the world, but if we just scoot over to this one, this guy's extremely mint. There's no crack. So if I take this off as well, another W for the red cappuccino. Even this style bar back here, it's definitely not a roll bar, so I wouldn't call it that. But this is something else if I want to get a bit aggressive. Let's say I want to paint this black. I could put this in my cappuccino because as of right now, I just have the normal bar. But most importantly, obviously the main creme de la creme, the whole reason that I could even justify buying this complete car was just the seats. I need the seats really bad. These only came in the limited, which makes it a bit cooler. I really like the other ones. I'll show you guys on the screen right now. That's actually my preferred seat, but I don't mind this one. Gotta give this one a little wash, but it's gonna be complete day and night from what I'm used to. And then honestly, that's pretty much it. I think back here it has all the carpet, but you guys know I already bought it. But like this would have been a perfect example where I didn't need to do that. I can sell these bags if anybody wants it, or maybe I just leave it in the car. It also comes with a spare, but you guys know I'm not about that spare life. Here's how my trunk looks. I just ordered all this. I think this was like $80. Like, you know, a waste of money when you really think about it, because now I have this. And now let's pop the hood. There really isn't anything too important over there. I popped the hood on both the cars just so you guys can see. And honestly, if somebody wants to buy this black passenger seat and you're in the NYC area, hit me up, because that is most likely going to be for sale. Because I'm not sure what I'm doing with that just yet, but if I can sell that seat for some good money, make some of my money back from that bad boy, I think I'm definitely going to do it. Now let's compare the 2 engine bays. I feel like I have to use my phone for this part, just because I really want to get all the details. So some notable things on my cappuccino: we got some Blitz coilovers, Blitz radiator cap, hard intercooler pipes, bigger intercooler, strut bar, HKS blow valve, spark plug cover. We got the catch can. I just put the hood pins, just got a full detail so it looks nice and clean. And over here, honestly, at face value, it doesn't look that bad. David, if you're watching, hit me up, because I know you said you wanted to get a strut bar, so I could sell you this one if you want it. But from right here, you know, it looks like a regular cappuccino. But then you look a bit closer, and there's some very questionable areas. There's also a lot of oil, or a lot of something. Something is being spilled somewhere. You can see that maybe that was leaking at one point, which led to that rust. You got a lot of ground wires. If you're gonna insert a road trip joke, just do it now. Let's get it over with. But it doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it isn't like, it's a running car, and I just drove it an hour and a half. So I'm not gonna make it seem like this is the worst thing ever. I'm actually really curious to see if I can take this off and use it for this. I think that's something we're gonna try, because it almost looks like this is just a stock one, and they just added that. So that actually would be a huge W if I'm able to do that. So we might swap that out. But again, the car is stock under here. There isn't any thrills. It does work, but look at that. Oh my God, look at that. Looks like whoever changed the alternator put too much lube in there to make sure it worked. But besides that, besides whatever oil issue that this may have, I do think this is still a running, driving, you know, functioning Cappuccino. Probably just has like a main seal leak or somewhere on the block. I don't think it's a head gasket. Kind of looks like too much oil for that, or maybe that's just been like that for a while. Honestly, I have no idea. But I think tomorrow what I'm gonna do, hopefully the weather's still on my side, I want to swap out as much as I can, and then from there I feel like I have 3 or 4 options of things I can do after this is complete. Because realistically, I'm not, you know, making this car any worse. I'm not really taking off anything too important. I'm gonna take off the strut bar. I'm gonna swap out this interior, so in a couple days these 2 seats will be in here. I'm gonna take off the wood grain and just put the black. Like, I'm not gonna make this you know, an ugly car, because I do still feel like this is a functioning car. I don't think it's something that I would like to drive every day, especially in the current state that it's in. But I think I have a couple options, and I'll tell you guys exactly what my thought process is when it comes to the 2 Cappuccinos. So the way that I'm looking at it is, if I'm able to take off everything off the blue Cappuccino, put it in here and sell it for about the same amount that I paid for the car, in my opinion, that's a W. Because that would mean that I basically got the seats for free. That would mean that, you know, I sold the strut bar and made, let's say, $100. And the little things like the wood grain, I would technically get for free if I'm able to sell the car for as much as I paid for. Which is then gonna leave me with a running, driving Cappuccino just with this interior. And that's where I don't know exactly what to do next. So option A, and it's really in no order, is I could just put the car back for sale. I would sell this for, I don't know, like $2,500, $3,000, depending. There's certain things that people want, like the strut bar. These wheels are gonna be gone, so if the person comes with their own wheels, even better. I do have another set that I could put on here if that, you know, if I needed to do that. But I'm thinking of selling it for less than $3,000 for sure, because again, it's still a running, driving car. And I think that if someone has a Jimny, this would be a good motor swap. Let's say someone just has another Cappuccino, they want to just keep another one, an extra motor. Let's say they want to do a track build or something. They'll have a complete car, the harness, the everything, like all the little things that you would have. You would just have a complete extra car. And I think that's still worth $2,500. So you can't import one of these for $2,500. I know the body's a piece of crap. We're not going to focus on that. But just this, the trans and everything, in my opinion, that's worth $2,500. Especially if I keep the lights and the bumper and the tail lights. I think that's not a bad price. So that's basically option A, selling it exactly how it sits right now, just with my interior. Option B, and this is pretty extreme, I don't think this is one of the things that's actually gonna happen, but we cut the car here and I tow it with this one. So we do something similar to the NSX dude, where I would have this red Cappuccino, tow this one, and this would be like my storage, and then, you know, we'll just cut the window here, and that'll be a plan where, you know, that may happen. That's an idea. I don't know if that's really gonna work, just seeing how this would still be a factor, and it's 2 different colors, and then that one has like the Ricer Rocket kit, so I feel like this one should have the Ricer Rocket kit. So that's kind of my thought process with that. I don't know if I'm really gonna do that, but that's an idea. That is still an idea, because I feel like in that situation I could still sell the front clip and again still get like 2 G's. I still think this at least is worth $2,000, at least $1,500 if we're gonna play the super low ball. I think I could sell this entire setup for $1,500. And then option C is probably my favorite. I just don't know if I have the money or the time or the resources to do it, but I would want to basically take off all the rust, not take off the rust, but, you know, pull all this tape off, pull everything off. Let's really address exactly how bad this rust really is. Same thing for over here. Let's really like dig deep and find all the imperfections on this car. Drive it to someone, see how much it would cost to get it repaired. I'm not gonna say 100% fixed, but at least in, you know, working driving condition where I won't go over a pothole and my whole like chassis would just fall to the ground. You know what I mean? That's what I would like to do. And if I did that and it was cost effective, I would want to learn how to drift in this Cappuccino. I've been wanting to learn how to drift for the longest. It's been one of my dreams for the longest. When I had my Miata, I wanted to do it, but it was too nice. Again, I feel like this Cappuccino is too nice. And how funny would it be if, you know, the K-car guy learned how to drift in this? Like, that'd just be hilarious. And then I think another thing that helps me with that decision is that I don't care about this body. I'm obviously gonna make mistakes. I'm obviously gonna run into things. So this one being, you know, a rusty clapped out shelf, I just have to put like a steel frame like right here, just weld it from there to there, and just make sure the doors close and stuff like that. To me, that's really all I care about. So that's honestly option C, which I love. I would love to you guys to let me know in the comments what you think I should do. There's a couple different options. Maybe I missed something, but that's kind of my plan. I think tomorrow I'm gonna wake up super early, swap out the seats, swap out the wood grain, swap out maybe the cluster. I feel like it's my speedo cable, not really the cluster, but swap that out and see if that makes any difference. And then from there, I have to decide, is this gonna be a drift build? Am I gonna be like the NSX dude? Am I just gonna sell it just like this? We'll see what the comments say, because if someone says, hey, I'm looking for this car, I need the engine, blah, 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 I give you $3,000 and they're local, then yeah, the car is gone. I don't really need it. The Honda Z is gonna be here in 2 weeks, and this is exactly where I've envisioned it to be. But I'm in this video here, update on the glow plates. There's this amount of slots left, and the winner of the free slot is this person. This was the number that I showed in my last video. You were the closest to that number. But I catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Remember the name. This is way before the fame.